Son, you've really let yourself go. It's a disgrace. But Coach Physical Instrument is going to get you back in prime condition, even if it takes 1,000,000 push-ups. Does a master swordsman insult his own blade? No. I'm going to turn you into an athletic benchmark, you big pussy.
I have really outdone myself. This is divine.
Yes, that's what you need, Gaston. More padding on that fat arse of yours. I hope your heart gives out.
Honey, it's a little pleasures. Life doesn't need to be a struggle. Hello, officer. How might I be of assistance on this fine day?
Vigilance officer, what can this old carabinier do for you? I prefer the old name, Insulindian Lily. Girls brought them to young cadets when they entered service. Wearing them on your cap was supposed to bring good luck. You know what? No. They brought me misery, false hope, and disappointment. The revolutionaries sullied them.
But it wasn't the revolutionaries that sullied the idea for you, was it? She gave them to me too, and your jealous little heart just couldn't accept it.
Enough! I can go over these matters in detail with you, Gaston, but not while we have company. So, officers.
Maybells don't blossom yet, do they?
Maybe on some remote parts of the city they do. But I think you'll have to wait for at least a month.
Looks like someone tried to reconceptualize their business here. Look, the skis and rotor blades both bear the same slipstream logo. It seems likely that they started out making one, failed to turn a profit, and then pivoted to producing the other. That's a good question. Reality is ruthless.
Yes?
Hello, I'm Nia. Did you try knocking on my window? I must have missed you. I've been listening to my Melius. So what kind of dye are you looking for?
She's got a direct view to the backyard. You should interrogate her about the lynching.
Yes, Amelia is like a call-in station. You need a two-way radio to access one. That's why I have these. Mostly, they just teach you to swear in different languages. But some of the stations can be quite interesting. I was so absorbed, I must have missed you knocking. I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing system and I'll make the die you need. That's why you're here, yes?
Role-playing games? You know the one made by Fortress Accident. Does that count?
How strange. Well, if you're interested, my rate is 10 real per set, unless you want something really unusual. Take a look around and see if there's any particular stone you want to use.
It almost looks as if the stones and dice are a natural part of the room, growing out of the shells like stalagmites. No falsehoods are present. She's a novelty dice maker and doesn't have anything to hide. Ask what you need.
How did I become one? It was a business decision. I was a regular jeweler at first, but that's a non-focus. Some of my friends were role players. They asked me to make some polyhedral dyes out of cobalt. That was my first order. I grew it from there. Not especially. I like working with rare materials and
Some of those nice people have big bucks to spend on novelty items.
Nothing really. I didn't know him.
The lieutenant looks at his notebook, then the woman under the large window.
Your window looks directly onto the courtyard. You're saying you didn't see or hear anything unusual last Sunday evening?
I'm sorry, detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out most of the daily ruckus behind my window. Well, there's always something going on in the Whirling's backyard. During daytime, there are usually those kids. And lately, I've been seeing a lot of drunk workers hanging about. Must be because of the strike.
She's heard of the murder, but did not see it, sire.
But I never saw anyone during that fateful Sunday night, I'm afraid. It's an odd profession, making dyes for people, but I like it, and I prefer doing this to sitting at home.
She nods.
Anything else, officer? We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know. But when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to build myself a makeshift home. Besides, I don't really have to pay any rent here, so that's a plus.
Creative.
When she arrived here, there was no room anywhere else. She must have known the other businesses.
I've heard the stories, but I don't think those stories are true. Plaisance, the bookshop lady? I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energies spared her somehow? All right, but it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. What about the whirling in racks? Some people say it's part of the building complex. And then there is me. I've been here for 14 years, selling novelty dice to role-playing enthusiasts. Not exactly a million-real business idea, yet somehow I've survived despite the talk of malicious energies. Strange, isn't it?
Maybe it's just because she's so talented that she's been able to woo the curse.
I was just about to ask, what do you think? Do you think the curse is real? Exactly. Truth is always so disappointingly mundane and boring. But I'm glad we got this sorted out. Anything else I can help you with today?
That's all she has to say on the subject. She's been thorough and truthful, as far as we can see.
More or less. Are you interested in anyone specific?
Oh, quite a lot of them spring to mind.
Fortress Accident, the radio game studio. They were an interesting bunch. We talked about role-playing systems every now and then. Once, I even saw two of them get into fisticuffs over Wirral. They certainly took their work very seriously, even if they seemed to be chronically liberal with their schedules. The usual, they ran out of money and couldn't get the project done on time. Well, I did hear them talking at times. They seemed to believe they were historical individuals on some grand quest.
She sounds almost mocking when she says that.
Yes, but when the money started to run out, they just began to complain a lot about capitalism. You know, how the markets are rigged to keep out new businesses and so on. In the end, they just didn't get it done. They didn't have enough willpower to produce something truly historic and to show up to work on time. And so it's producing something extraordinary. Anything else? Oh, right. I hope you didn't try to ring me. I think none of those doorbells work, including mine. I'm still in the middle of connecting the wires. Sorry about the confusion.
The doorbell with the empty name card must belong to her then.
That's right. I haven't even written my name there. As I said, it's quite useless right now. It doesn't work yet. Sure, I'm listening. Oh boy, the fabled Revo Show ICT. You're in for a treat here. The place was owned by two guys who had some rather innovative ideas about marketing. The bear was one of them. Now ask me about their other ideas.
Indeed. What were the other ideas?
There was really just one. and it involved picking out the prettiest girls in the neighborhood and paying them 20 cents per hour to man the booth. And by man the booth, I mean slump behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you ever dared to disturb their bored magazine browsing.
Fritte does the same thing.
Oh, but they did. They did show up to work, and not alone. There were also acne-ridden girlfriends and gorilla-like boyfriends loitering near the ice cream stand. And they already had the bear. The bear. Of course not. The bear was terrifying. No one wants ice cream guarded by a hostile apex predator. To make matters worse, the fridge didn't work too well either, and half the ice cream came out malformed and partially melted. Eventually, Ravishore Ice City lost the price war to its rival, Glace 5000. Glace 5000 sold caramel sundaes for only 5 cents a piece, out of regular fridges. Maybe, because the taxidermist who made the bear definitely wasn't. Doing his job, I mean. He said that the bear was his vision beast. He said he met his vision beast while high on desiccants. Called it Megatherion.
Sounds cool.
It's an by telling you to do more drugs, mostly. Very good. You shouldn't do them. You're a police officer after all. Anyway, now you know the story of the fallen ice cream empire.
Little sparkling embers under the window.
Anything else? Another failed business, perhaps? I've been here for a long time. They were made by a company called Slipstream. After they pivoted from making rotor blades to skis, their chief executive took off on a vacation with all their money. Honestly, I think it's quite funny. I think he's still sending out holiday transmissions from Tulula or Tiumotiri or Hashtkor or wherever he is. The usual, I imagine. That he's been thinking up all kinds of new business plans and can't wait to get started on them just as soon as he returns.
Men like that are a curse.
Sure, but Slipstream is history now. All their remaining assets got seized by the bailiffs in 47. I have no idea why those skis and blades are still lying around in the house. Not much use now, I guess.
They were just the props. Why return them? Maybe you could make a sword out of one. No, wait, forget it. It would take too long.
Good. I hope it clarified things a bit. What else?
You feel nothing. If anything, it's uncomfortably warm in here. She has begun to idly clean one of her carving tools with a dirty kerchief. the tool's sharp edge shining in the light of her desk lamp. Wow, you work hard. Oh, yes, you hustle. You're a provider. It's tough out there, but you keep it real and provide. Look at yourself. You're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000 steps down cracked. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. A little. You make money. It ain't easy, but you do it. Day in and day out. You didn't make the rules, but sure. And has it been easy? Are you rich? That's right. You work harder than anyone. You almost rode yourself to the grave and you're still practically a hobo. Why is that? Because of the taxes. G-Man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in... Aren't taxes almost non-existent in the Gossamer state that is Revachol? Every time you wipe your ass, they got their direct and their indirect modes of taxation. 98% of all your money. What are you, a racist? Don't be a racist. Be a cool immigrant. The bear's eyes are still... This old fireplace is covered in lines drawn in blue and red mark. The whole thing resembles Kadran mosaic tiles. Varied history classes, students with their textbooks open, studying the roots of our radio frequencies, it seems. UKV 123.6, UKV 123.7, UKV 123.9. Some unclear. It looks like a cardiovascular system split into veins and capillaries. Very advanced. You think so? The web is comprised of radio stations, all lead back to one red heart, titled the Game Master Frequency. A note says, this one can listen in on any station. They must have had massive airwidth. These things don't come cheap. Someone very important, the leader of a massive on-air game built by these people. A conductor for the hundreds of story threads. Whoever decides to call in to a list of names under there's no way.
My God, it's as if the less money they had, the more ambitious their project became. The schedule, I know doom when I see it.
Nothing, it's just lines on marble. Your flashlight slide. Some of the writing has faded with age, but you can still. The handwriting is only partly legible, but you can still make out through. The full text reads, "Heat death of the universe." This, it looks at Mini-Me stands for a mini meeting. It's part of a bigger framework for managing work called RUN. Station. As time goes,
Looks like they didn't make it.
a note in the bottom left corner of the chalkboard says, "See the prod schedule filament for details." These lie you should at one of the Welkins, towering. It's the hull.
An inordinate amount of time has gone into drawing these little welking creatures. This looks like concept art for a project. Some people really just look at those details.
The photo collar, entire use, albeit a pinned postcard reads, "The heat death scenario, a desperate fight for geothermal." Tiles on the cube are still smoldering. Cast like a smooth draw, the filament slides into place. On the keyboard, the play key starts blinking. Nothing happens. Behind the hatch sits a cube-like crisscross of filaments, smoldering in the dark like firefly. The speaker comes to life. Static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. An old lady greets you. Her voice sounds 100 years old.
Good afternoon. Fortress accident en rue de Saint-Ghislaine. This is it. Please repeat. Is this the production schedule? Thank you.
Tiles on the cube are still. Tiles on the cube are still smoldering. The speaker.
Good afternoon. Please repeat. Good. Please repeat the password. I am contractually obliged to protect the privacy of the filament holder for stress accident. Without filing a warrant with Lintel, I cannot give you access to this filament.
I'm afraid we are not doing that, unless we want to wait for a month.
Now, can you please repeat the password? Still no. Received. I will register this.
Don't worry. Passwords have a way of turning up sooner or later.
Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today? Thank you.
Tiles on the cube. The filament slides out.
What have you found? And also, do buy the books. They're a novelty dice maker. Well, spit it out. Why does she need the dice? For some kind of sorcery? Sometimes they use the ankle bones of sheep. I don't understand. If it's not her, then where is the source of the doom? How did she explain the curse?
The narrative she's built herself, it does need tearing down. She's squeezing on the pendant too tight. A drop of blood in her palm. Just don't say you don't have any answer yet. The uncertainty is killing her. To hell with it. Perchance you ought to just lie, sire.
A third-order presence, yes. I've heard of these triactors. In certain occult literature, that's too dark to dwell on for too long, and definitely not in public. I understand everything, sir. Thank you for your descending into the maelstrom. I will keep fort up here, strengthen the wards, do my best. And if you happen upon the third entity in your travels, may the Lord be with you.
Well, this has been absolutely educational. If we happen on the third presence in our travels, we will certainly come back to tell you. Should we get out of here before the vortex collapses?
Does Kuno care? Kuno doesn't.
can I help you?
I've got nothing to say to you. Why are you wasting your time? What you want is of no significance, officer. What are we going to do to you? The Union isn't going to do anything to you. It is not a crime syndicate.
Goddamn right it is.
If anything, it is the RCM who do things to people. But we digress. Like I already told you, I'm a legal counsel.
Can I help you?
The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod, acknowledging your presence. The mention of mañana gets his attention. He smiles and delivers a whole slew of unfamiliar words and lively gestures. Then he falls silent again. The man says a couple of sentences in that strange language of his and then seems to wait for you to speak. I'm pretty sure he asked you a question. He doesn't know your language. You can just say something cool in return.
Horse need more vodka?
Okay, so it's vodka that keeps the men happy and in good spirits. Clever move by the Union.
Of course, vodka. Now that makes a very, very special borscht indeed. Turn it up and then ask for some yourself. Turning it up seems like a dangerous idea, honestly. The place is a powder keg. The cook gives you a long, disappointed look, then turns the stove off and seems to wait for you to speak. You see a heavy steel. It could be connected to the bar door upstairs. The door does not, but the old kobo, it leads to a side. You see, it could be connected. The door. The same small, heavy door. No lock. The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. You kick it, gung-ho style. Entering.
All right, let's trash the place.
Let's not.
The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. You give it another, more ferocious kick. The door still does not move.
Demolish the place.
I don't see how this is going to give new results. There must be another way in there. Through the kitchen door, perhaps. Let's explore rather than destroy.
The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. You give it another, more ferocious kick. The door still does not move.
Demolish the place.
I don't see how this is going to give new results. There must be another way in there. Through the kitchen door, perhaps. Let's explore rather than destroy.
The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. You kick it.
All right, let's trash the place.
Let's not.
You give it another, more for.
Demolish the place.
I don't see how. Through the kitchen door, perhaps. Let's explore rather than destroy.
This time, something cracks inside. It is an unbelievably satisfying sound.
Nice.
Filling you with a belief in your own body.
Well, sounds like this time the property damage was at least resolutive. Would it hurt to look in?
Bent metal, broken glass. Your path lies strewn with the broken forms of everyday objects. You are the destroyer, the bane of inanimate matter. Kudos. You clearly see footprints in the downy carpet of dust covering the workshop floor.
Jackpot. These, unlike everything else here, are new.
Large prints, most likely made by Boots. The size is hard to determine. Sole could be bigger than Vamp. The soles have left a pattern, uniform, horizontal lines. This print is unlike one left by a regular worker boot. It is not a brand sole with logos on it. It seems custom made or old-fashioned. Shoe size is 41 to 42, maybe 43. It could be a large-footed woman or a small to average-footed man. This is, unfortunately, the worst, most vague shoe size there is.
No, these little horizontal lines are different. They look custom-made to me. Or some kind of foreign print. Hard to say. Still a boot, though. The size looks about the same, actually. They are not the same shoe, but they could be the same person.
Everything around you is quiet. The prints crisscross the workshop floor.
3 weeks maximum, from the dust coverage. It could easily have been 1 week, too. This isn't bad at all. It was a good idea to see where that door leads. Commendable work bringing us to this place. It means someone snuck through what seems like a secret route, behind our rape victim's room, in the recent weeks. This may prove to be significant.
You can almost see the shape of a man and a woman writhing inside, bathed in drug sweat and dirty linens. Bottles lie around everywhere.
You can barely see through. Better not to jump to sensationalist conclusions here. The footprints on the floor, however, definitely suspicious.
You lean closer to the peephole instinctively. I bet they're doing something quite unnatural there. Over there, in the corner. Not just any pinball machine. This is the pinnacle of pinball. Cornelius Gordy and the Mountain Goats. It's lit. You can't wait to get your hands on it.
The pinball machine. Gordy's Goats, a classic. A little. Ah, great.
Cornelius Gordy and the Mountain Goats reads the golden lettering on top of the back box. There's a small column of text underneath. The machine is coin-operated. Get the game on, Fingerboy. Those flippers are ready. Above the painting of a mustached man climbing a hill, a column reads, "Inspired by the legend of Cornelius Gordy, taken on the world's tallest peak, Corpus Muindi. The Mesk legend holds that when the nation is in danger, heroic Gordy shall return and save his people." The theme of the game is to explore Gordy's climb through the perspective of goats and to ascend to the top of the mountain in a time of trouble. The peak of the mountain is at the top of the playfield. All the balls have small goat icons on them and represent the goats as they race up and down the mountain. Areas around the playfield represent Gordy's climb, places he was said to have camped, which indeed, think of them as balls. It takes a while to get into a rhythm, but pretty soon you're able to keep 3 goat-faced balls in play with relative ease. Go, go, finger boy.
I feel sorry for the goats. If they only knew the kind of guy old Cornelius really was. The kind of a guy who uses the word savages a lot when recounting his travels. A masked nationalist. An avid huntsman too. He was often photographed in his dining hall, surrounded by a wall-mounted hunting trophy from every continent. He also hit his wife and kids. Other people's kids too. Sometimes pets. Hateful little man. But you seem to be having fun.
Your game is definitely improving. The jolly goats are flying all over the board, and although a few plummet to their deaths, you're never left with less than 3. Suddenly, a special passage leading to the summit slides open at the top of the board. This is where the balls need to go. Maneuvering a goat ball into a position for a perfect hit isn't easy. More fall to their deaths. But finally, the opportunity presents itself. One of them gets through. The words "Pale Rupture" light up on the speaker panel, and the machine starts filling with a thick, milky fog. Something's happening.
Congratulations. This is where the game ends. It's a cheap way of getting more money out of the players. A stupid, nihilistic finale.
There's so much fog, you can barely see anything. Some is actually leaking out of the machine, and one by one, your goats start slipping, disappearing into the milky nothingness. This can be navigated. The balls leave almost imperceptible disruptions in the fog. Use them to calculate where they hit next. You're down to your last goat, going mostly by sound. Eyes are useless at this point, but that goat is something special. 5 times you snatch him back from the jaws of death.
I am. I've seen it before. Played it too. You will eventually make a mistake and then it's all over.
How, if you can't even see it? The last goat plummets into the fog with almost suicidal glee. There goes nothing, finger boy.